2002-2003, the exhibition, it's a solo show at the Sprengel Museum in Hanover. The show is curated by Inka Schube, with whom I have been working before on another solo show some years before in Berlin, about the space realm. I showed Haus der Context. Now, for this show in Hanover, the title is Mediaarbeiten, and then later on they will call it Mediaarbeiten, they call it Mediaarbeiten from the last 10 years, because actually I have produced a bit more than 10 years of work within the media. So I've been using the media as a surfboard, going from media to media, trying to show some kind of freedom and testing them, testing the way they crop, testing the way we can use them, testing the way they change content, and testing the way they print, the edition they do, the color edition as every image. So when we're in 2002, they call it 10 years, but actually my first media project, I think, was from 1986 in Copenhagen, where I want to grab in a picture with the future King of Denmark, Prince Frederick, and then to get into the newspaper in order to do a fiction based on a documentary fact. This is some view. The place had three space. It was a space in the either room, and then I use also the corridors of the museum, and then all over I could have artwork in different space, mixing with the collection of the museum. So I also insert some artwork in the other place of the museum. Now we are going to see the first room. The first room. The first room was about the media work, mostly almost retrospective. I came and I installed an exhibition that I actually after didn't move so much. In this space, I was using a lot of small prints and interconnecting stories. So, for example, this one is how a picture have been used in the sport art as a mobile moving exhibition, and how they end up into media and what's happened to them. This is a goodie project mixed with the exhibitionist with family picture project. It's a football, but it's also sport art Roskilde Festival project. You can see as it's mixed also. This T-shirt have been used in television programs, and then the story reappear in the media, and I redo a T-shirt, and then I circulate the whole thing in different forms. So, for example, this is a collected photo that an exhibitionist gave me in a karate show. This you can see how they are done, and this is transparency. All this is an energetic move. This is the race, Kinderwagen, the Barnevangsløb with a crown. That's a print from a T-shirt, so I use it a bit for, like a canvas. I wear the T-shirt 2-3 days, sign it with sweat, and then it get cut like that, and often it goes also on a piece of wood, tendu, tense like a canvas. This is part of the Capitaine TV program where I try to be invited to people. You can see I have also exhibition on my rucksack. There is photo, and my coat are always a kind of solo show exhibition with different space, including the leaves, the pocket, and the bottom. Here is part of the Capitaine, the TV program where I try to see inside the house of people. It's a clin d'œil to Étant donné, from the Duchamp Étant donné, where I look in the hole to see a kind of three-dimensional universe of the people. More of the wall in the room. I mixed here canvas, no, a photo from a T-shirt with photograph the conference, and you can see I'm a conference photographer on this one, and then I take a picture. I also wear exhibition on my T-shirts, so there is different layers. These go on television. This stills from TV reportage. This is the Venice Biennale where I was participating with a counterpress, and this is a project from '96 in Stockholm with Jeff Guess, the prolific project in Moderna Museet in the newspaper and in the squares of Stockholm. This is the invitation for the Österbro Film Festival, and this is a relic for my job as a conference photograph here. So all get mixed and interconnected, and maybe I might be the only one that can detect the connection sometimes. This is a Buren project I did where I use the flags, the Danish and the Greenland flag for a film, and it's exactly where I wrote the text about the Daniel Buren project in Copenhagen. I do it at the same place on a inside, outside, and passage project, so I connect both. You can see here that's the domain I own on internet, including the Danish Nest, Danish Hygge, Global Deco, the Danish Air, danskluft.dk. That's my code with the necessity of a visa. You can see in two exhibitions in Edinburgh, and this is in Weiler Kunstmuseum, and you can see this is my catalogs of the impermeable. I just put a photocopy of the impermeable on a photocopy machine, and you can see this is there is part of the exhibition is between the inside and the outside of the code. That's some relic from the Capitaine TV program from 1999. This is a burning wand in one of the program where I visit the Danish army on the city hall square, and then they paint me a burning wand, and this burning wand is collected and almost look like a tome explosion. That's the label from the museum. So I classified all this work like media transport, from media to media, etc. I have a whole language how I transport these things, about like almost like a sport dictionary, how to play with the media or to dance tango, but here it's to move in the media. So this one is a label media transport. You can see another perspective. So here I still have the t-shirt. This is a t-shirt of my kids during the race, the Barnevognsløb. So the Barnevognsløb started with a poster where I try to invite participants, and then it go in the newspaper. But that was my kids' t-shirt during the race, and as you can see, I have an exhibition on my kids' t-shirt that was sued. It's from the boxing in Thailand, the photo of it and the painting of the boxing. Here is one more story about the boxing in Thailand. And this is how I insert the boxing in an annonce newspaper to sell paintings. These paintings go after in political in the birthday section for the definition of conclusionism. This is taken in the Weekend Avis as a superposition with Yves Klein. And then there is a painting of the boxer here and an article around here. This go after in the media Kiko Köp story and so on. So I circulate, I travel the artwork, and then you can see now the whole room, half of it. So there is 3 TV program with from the DRTO, their Capitaine. I think there is also the immigrant series, and then they are shown with the intro from because the work is not to do a video art, it's the work is to be able to insert the work into a media. So it's like, let's say for an artist, the artwork takes some kind of interest if the artwork is exhibited at MoMA or Pompidou Center and so on. Here, the artwork for me gets this interest when he has a media circulation, because he has to be seen within the media, inside the media. So it's not an artwork that go in TV, it's an artwork that has to question TV, that is kind of in immersion in the TV. So I think I show 6 or 7 of these programs. So more of this t-shirt, toile. Here's some visitor watching the exhibition. You can see on the floor I have my nice Cibachrome photo that are not anymore up to the wall, but I show that now for me the artwork is all this media clip or media cut. Inka Shub is a curator for photography in the museum, so it is an exhibition questioning photography. You can see more about these codes and more of the story, how we go from a family picture collected in Thailand and how it gets censored by the police for pornography, and how the story go back to Extrabladet with the cropped part of that image that was filmed on television. So, but on TV nobody complained because the flux of picture go very fast. So this the same picture even full size was shown on TV uncut, but nobody noticed because on TV if you don't stop the flux, you don't get to see the things close. That's from the sport art show, and here you can see it's one of the TV programs. That's the one about the race. So you can see the TV program from there too show the newspaper cut, which was also in the TV show, and around you can see what was part of it, like the T-shirt of the kids with a picture. Here you see a corner, there is some blue helmet included. Here I'm painting a pink helmet with a spray. It's very early. Here I'm showing the border between the inside and the outside of my coat. Here I'm the Blue UN in Stockholm, and here is my exhibition of 3 years in a suitcase at the Academy that necessite a visa, and here it's a run to bring the artwork in time at the Academy Art Bibliothèque in 92. Here it's Bishop's story, and this is a quote because the Bishop story is also about imperméabilité, and coats which are raincoat. So here you can see about the Look and See project. So it's when I insert photo in a context in a newspaper to sell object, and how the picture get cut, which text I have to do, which kind of picture I have to send. So I am not censored by those paper. Here I show how I use a print and the print of the media as a photo print. I'm not Le Gray photograph, but I consider that this print is orange, is brownish. This is orange, and this is the next step. This is become black. He has the same picture, but I'm interested to see how a picture can take different structure, form, colors by different moment of the printing or time. So the picture are not the same. So if you're an art collector, you can have different graduation. So because I number these artworks and I make edition of them just by collecting them in the shops. Here it's work, the tourism in Thailand, that was first shown in 1990 in Denmark at Billerhus. It's picture collected from tourists in Thailand. This time they are framed and they are also shown in that room. Outside it was called, I just put this question for the outside, so we are inside. This is what you can see from the lake of Hanover if you watch towards the museum. Sie haben Wasser und Gas auf allen Etagen. That was the question I was asking somehow, because the exhibition was also all over. All over, yes. Here it's when before I left the museum, I gave the team of the museum some daily task to collect every morning the newspaper and see and follow what was going on with the war in. Now America was threatening and Iraq was threatening the rest of the world. Everybody was threatening each other of bombing with all kind of bombs, also including atomic bombs. So everybody was scared. So they were collecting newspaper of those images of people in war, and then they will do a newspaper the same day and do a flying exhibition. So it will be the museum is very high. So they will go to the highest point of the museum and send this flying exhibition. You can see there is a picture of a conflict of soldier. They were thrown, and then they will fall in the main corridor, and then after a while there will be like a wreckage on the pavement. It's inside the museum of the pavement. My room is this one on the left. My room, my quiet room is here. But then I will kind of invade and bomb, kind of almost military invasion of those planes, because we were also invaded by being threat of the coming next Third World War. And then it was an issue we could not avoid anywhere we were living to think about this. More of this wreckage. Here you can see one of the TV video installation as well. You can see a bit of the picture. Here is a plane flying. They are flying, and they are done. It's exhibition done the same day, exhibit the same day, about today. So they are ultra fast, ultra contemporary. And I think the subject was emergency. It was to study how these media were treating scary things like the news. Now you can see, as a curator, where every day they were, let's say, taking the date. Here we are in another part of the project. I could have some artworks all over the museum. So, for example, this is a room for the Picasso. One Picasso was sent to another museum, so I could have the space here in the Picasso room for one of my artworks, the Saved Boltanskis. So you can see closer. And the label here is media transport. So it's about media transport. I'm transporting the artwork, which was from a family picture. You can see this is a family picture that turned into an exhibition in small size, and then it was blown up and become a poster. I took this poster, and this poster I bring it back to the museum. So there is a kind of transport of the artwork from family private picture to semi-public to super public and back to the museum. So it's transportation of the media medium. Here is a Léger room, Fernand Léger room, and so on. So this is moved. Here you can see some of the picture from the media that were cut, and they are normally they have the name they come from. They are taken out of the context. So this was Taz, and this is 13th of November 2002. It was all these pictures can be studied. What was going on with war representation then? How people will dress for the coming chemical war, because the bombing of the chemical was near, or so it was announced quite near. This is more violence, and it was a kind of second Cold War. Bush will kind of excite people that the war was near, and you can see some of the picture. Meanwhile, the tourists were kept by people in uniform on the main beach. So you can see how every time a picture of conflict will appear, they will cut it and do a paper plane. So there is hopefully no one missing. But this is an extract of some of those planes, and that's the original that made those planes possible to be used as paper plane. Thank you very much.